Hello everyone. As you guys can see, I have been busy with this game over the past couple of days. So I started this project since the last time, right? I started the project to have like a permanent solution to power till like end game, till going through end game. Because right now I'm struggling with power. So I wanted to set up a massive power plant. I just unlocked turbo fuel, so I wanted to utilize the oil nodes which are over here, all the way over here, and I wanted to use those to build a massive 40,000 megawatt power plant. So basically, this is a perfectly balanced and optimized power plant that I'm trying to build over here by utilizing just one pure oil node. So this one oil node is able to provide me like 600 oil per minute, and that is generating 40,000 megawatt power plant. So this looks a little bit complicated, like it looks a little bit huge and stuff, but honestly it's pretty simple. It's an extremely simple setup. But I am proud of this because I was able to make it perfectly modular, and I was also able to make it perfectly balanced by using only blueprints, like just these blueprints, and I was able to complete this. Like if I look at this is a blueprint over here, then this part is a blueprint, that's a blueprint, that's a blueprint, and so is that. And then those are just power generators, right? Fuel generators. So pretty nice, pretty good setup, pretty neat setup. There's a control tower over there. So what I want to do is I want to build this, which is the fuel power plant, but to power this, sort of like a backup power, I have these biomass burners. So this is the backup generator, which is powerful enough to actually start this, right? Imagine I am late into endgame and I'm doing like nuclear power and stuff like that, and suddenly something blows up, right? Like basically I have an abundance of nuclear waste and I'm not able to generate any more power and stuff. Then I want to, and even this thing stops and everything, the entire production chain basically stops in this world. So in that case scenario where I want to have a setup where I'm able to cut off power for the rest of the world and just start power for this using this backup power generator. So this is able to generate around 5,000 megawatts of power, which is exactly what I need to power this. I think it's a little bit more than what I need, but that's good. Always more is better. Surplus is always better. So I can power this and kickstart this setup, and this should start working. And then I should switch on the power supply for the rest of the world. So that's what that control tower is there for. I have not completed like decorating and everything. It's still ongoing process. There's still a lot of stuff that I need to work on, including that tower, right? I basically was using that for getting places. Like I'm using the flying mode only to show off this build over here, but whenever I was working, I was like manually walking to and fro between my actual base and over here, and it was taking a long time. So I just built this up, which has this long hypertube, and also if we go all the way to the top, we have put in the hypertube setup to fast travel. So this is the fast travel in this game. Basically, if you have like multiple of these small setups like this, and if you get inside there, this is perfectly angled to go back to my main base. Similarly, as you can see, there is a tower over there which is able to get me back over here, and it's like the perfect distance. So I was using this to travel. It saved me a lot of time, probably like 10 minutes every single trip, right? All I need to do is come here and just go there. And also I have like parachutes and stuff, so from here I can easily get down. I don't have to worry too much. So that's what this is there. Apart from that, this is also a control tower where basically this can power bio power plant, this can power fuel power plant, and then there's the world power. So the way this is wired is like bio power plant is independent. Like I can switch it off and just switch this on, or I can switch this on and switch this off. Each of these are independent, but both of these can be independently connected to the world grid. So if that world grid is off, these two will not power anything in my world. These are totally cut off from the rest of my world. I can independently power both of these and like both, like this can power this, and then this will become self-sufficient and it will constantly keep running. That can happen. But if that's the main power grid switch, if that is off, my entire world is shut off. So that's the safety switch that I have. And apart from that, I have like individual switches to each of these power plants over here, which if switched off, no matter what that power switch is, this will be switched off. So there is a power switch here which is able to switch off the fuel power plant, and then there's a power switch here which is able to shut down the bio power plant. That's what I'm calling this. Anyway, so basically it's biomass burners, right? So this is like a master switch for this entire plant which can shut it down. So that's the gist of it. A very simple setup, nothing too complicated. But this is just a start, right? Like once this is done, I don't have to worry about power anymore, and then I'll start building huge plastic and rubber plants, etc. But I'm starting with this. So yeah, very nice setup. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I really wanted to use the blueprints as much as possible for everything, because I am planning to expand this. Like, so the next expansion will be right on top of this. I'll make multiple floors of this. So I have this one pure oil node, then there are like 3 normal oil nodes. So one pure is 600, one normal is 300. So I can combine 2 more of these oil nodes and make another floor over here, or maybe I'll bring oil from somewhere else all over the world, and I'll build more power plant. But no matter what, I want to perfectly replicate this on top of each other and just go to the roof, right? Go to the ceiling. Basically, that's my plan. So I wanted to make it as a blueprint so that it's easily replicable. Like if it's not a blueprint, oh my god, manually building this is such a headache. So I didn't want to do that. And the blueprints are pretty simple. Like for example, the first blueprint is this one is, what is this? Heavy oil residue. So if I go here, there's this heavy oil residue. A very simple blueprint. All like literally nothing else. It has power connected. It has inputs. It has output. Everything is done. Recipe is set. Everything is set. So, and I have even colored it to purple, right? So very easy, extremely easy. I can just set all of these up, like multiple of these, and it is perfect. And these are all perfectly balanced because that is bringing 600. So if you see, so this takes in 30, there is 20 of these. So if I come all the way down here, there are only 2 over here, right at the end. I just deleted one of these from the blueprint. So 18, like 3 times 6, 18 plus 2, 20. And these are going further into these individual packaged water. This is the packaged water. And then there's the fuel, which is a recipe which basically doubles fuel. Like 30 heavy oil residue, 60 packaged water gives you 60 fuel. Basically, you are doubling the amount of fuel that you are getting. And then here is the compacted coal that is being manufactured. And then here is the turbo fuel. So once turbo fuel is made, all the turbo fuel is going into these generators. And one other thing to note is that in every one of my builds, I like to keep these modular in the sense that I don't want to have single points of input. Like for example, the oil that is coming over here, for example, this one is not going directly into just one singular point. It is being split into 3. One part is going to the left end, the other is going to the right end, the other is going to the middle. This will ensure that there is equal supply of oil throughout the entire refinery. Like if I put this input right over here, right, like I can just kind of bring this over here and connect it over here. Then by the time the oil reaches all the way to the end, it will never reach basically. It's yeah, it will never reach. By the time it reaches there, this would have already used up its oil, and then it will take in oil. So even though it's perfectly balanced to reach till the end, it will never reach. So you won't have enough throughput. So you have to balance it. When there is a, you need to have a lot more throughput than what is required for it to reach the end, which is not there. Like I have perfectly balanced it, so I have to split it like this. So once that is done, like this setup, for example, is generating 40 times 3 heavy oil residue, which is 120 heavy oil residue. So that 120 heavy oil residue is going over here. So this takes in 30, which means I need 4 of these. So this setup is modular and it is set up only to these 4 and it's not connected to anything else. So imagine I want to shut just this part off. I can do that. I can just disconnect just this network and I can completely shut it off. Similarly is the case of these packaged water, right? Even the water it's getting, it's only it's supplying only to these two because it's perfectly balanced to that. That's one water generator, right? What is this? Water extractor. So one water extractor makes gives 120 water, so split into 60 and 60, which is perfect. So from here it goes to unpackager, where it will unpackage that water. Unpackage the fuel, and then the empty canisters goes back into the same loop, like it goes back into the packager. So this is a closed loop. So initially when I start the system, all I need to do is put in a bunch of empty canisters inside it, like to all of these, and that is self-sufficient to maintain this loop. Like empty canisters goes there, becomes packaged water, comes here, becomes fuel, comes here, unpackages to fuel, and gives out like 60 empty canisters. So it takes in 60, gives out 60. So there is no wastage of material. So that 60 empty canisters just goes back into the loop. So literally a perfectly well-balanced machine over here. Like there is literally, I don't need to constantly supply canisters or anything, or I don't need to put in a huge loop. Each of these are individual, right? So nothing will back up or anything. So this is perfect. So from here, the fuel goes all the way over here to this machine, which is fuel plus compacted coal gives turbo fuel. Even this, for example, is perfectly balanced. Like this, I have underclocked this, right? 88. That was specifically to balance it. So 60, so this is 20 fuel. And this blueprint is 3 refineries, so that is 60 fuel. 20 times 3, that is 60 fuel. And if we see, each of these generates 60 fuel. So one of these is going there to one singular system over here. And there are 4 right next to each other. So there are like this 4 basically is going to this line of refineries, 12 refineries. And it's the same throughout. So this is exactly as I wanted, meaning that from here, it's an entire single system, like single file. So this is one system, it belongs to this, it belongs to that, then this, and then these 4. So if I want to shut it off, I can just shut this one singular line off, or I can turn this on, just one single line, if I want to test something. So that's how it is. I might not ever need to do that, but it's there in case, right? So from here, turbo fuel 16.667 is for 1. So if I go here, 16.667 times 3 is 50, right? So 50 times 4 is 200. So there is 200 turbo fuel over here. And each of these is like going over here. Each of these are like, each of these fuel generators are triple overclocked. So each of these will generate 625 megawatts. I wanted to do that because I wanted to reduce the number of generators. If not, there'll be like 2.5 times these many generators. Like, right? It will go to the end of this ocean, end of this map or something. So I really didn't want to do that. And also it will be a nightmare for me to get turbo fuel into every single one of these. So I didn't want to do that. So right now, like this, oh, I have not colored this in red, but all of this is turbo fuel. I have colored these pipes based on the fuel that they are taking, like the liquid that they are taking. Like water is blue, fuel is orange, turbo fuel is red, but I did not color down here. Anyway, so each of these turbo fuel comes here. So one part goes to this end, the other part goes to this end. So that's how it is. And each of these lines are connected to each other like this. And basically that connection is being connected over there, and that end is connected over there. Similarly, the next line is connected to these generators. The one next over there is connected to these. Something like that. Exactly like that. So pretty efficient. I'm expecting everything to turn on. There won't be, everything is balanced because even here there's split. the amount of fuel is being supplied from two different ends, and it's supplied to only half a row of generators, which is I think 8, right? Yeah, only 8 fuel generators. So I'm expecting everything to get enough fuel and to properly turn on, and it is perfectly balanced, so everything should get enough at once. Oh yeah, I just glazed over this. So even that is a blueprint. So I have this compacted coal, which takes in 120 coal, 120 sulfur, gives me 120 compacted coal. So extremely simple setup, which I built it in the blueprint. 2 inputs, 3 outputs. Perfect. So I come here. So there are the 2 inputs. 1, 2 and 3 outputs. So each of these outputs is giving me, so this is giving me 20. So this and this is being combined into one, so 40 compacted coal, which is exactly what this needs, like 13.334 times 3. So that is 40. So that is exactly what this system needs. So this is being split into these 3. So similarly, the one there is going there like that. So yeah, I tried to make it as balanced as possible. I mean, yeah, completely balanced. I'm happy about that. I really hate the manifold setup. Is that what it's called? Where everything just flows from one to the other, because you need such a high throughput for the end system to get it, or you need a infinite time for it to reach a steady state, or everything needs to back up for it to reach steady state. Something has to happen. And I don't like it. Whenever I come and see, I want everything to be working properly. I don't want to wait. So yeah, and then over here, this is all the coal supply that's coming over there. There's a little bit of sulfur. All the sulfur is coming from over there. Most of the sulfur is coming from over there. So that's good. I built this over the red forest and stuff. It was a pain, but fortunately I never got on ground much. I was just on top building like these foundations, and I was just staying on top. There were lots of spiders and stuff, but it was fine. Oh yeah, I never mentioned this. So at the end over here, so there were just these 2, right? The reason I kept these 2 separate is because I did not want to use everything to make power. 40,000 power is being generated just from these 18 of these. So there are 8 fuel generators, each generating 625 megawatts, right? So 8 times 8 is the number of fuel generators that I have, times 625. So that's 40,000 megawatts that I have over here, just with these. But the last 2, I kept it to manufacture the things necessary for me. For example, packaged fuel, packaged turbo fuel, plastic, rubber, everything will be manufactured using these. So here this comes, so this setup goes in here similar to that, but over here, as you can see, I have stopped it right over here, because this, for example, is making packaged fuel, and I'm storing packaged fuel because I do need packaged fuel, right? For like I don't know, anything, for MAM research or flying around, etc. I might need packaged fuel. So that is being stored over here. So that is the first part. Then the other part is going over here using a bit of compacted coal, which is again only half the blueprint here, not half, 1/3 the blueprint here, right? That I needed. So I have used that, and it's going into this one setup, which is able to power this entire setup. And here it's becoming packaged turbo fuel over here. So this is packaged turbo fuel that is being stored. So this generates 60 packaged turbo fuel, I think, and 60 packaged fuel. So ample supply of stuff that I need. So these are only for my personal use. This will not be used for any other setups, right? Similarly over here, so these setups have something called as polymer resin as byproducts. So totally there are like 10 refineries. So there are 200 polymer resins, and polymer resin can be used to make multiple different things. That's what all of this refinery is. So let me go through these. So first one is plastic. As we can see, the 60. So I have overclocked this 90 polymer resin, 30 water gives me 30 plastic. So this 30 plastic is coming here and becoming 60 empty canisters. This 60 empty canisters is going over here, which is packaged water, and this empty canister. The reason it's going over there is because this fuel, packaged fuel, is not being unpackaged. So it is constantly being used. So there is no closed loop network over here. So it needs to have a constant supply of empty canisters, which is being provided by this. So this will always run. No matter what, this will run. So which is perfect. Now this is again plastic. This is again empty canister, but this empty canister is going for turbo fuel. This packaged turbo fuel is again not a closed loop, so it needs constant supply of empty canisters. So these two are empty canisters. Then over here, this is plastic, which comes here and becomes empty canister and is being stored. So this is my own personal supply of empty canisters. Anytime I want, I can come here, I can get empty canisters. Or it's even going to dimensional depot, so I can access it from my inventory anywhere in the world, but that is there. Then I have fabric. Polymer resin plus water is making fabric. Nice. But it is making 30 fabric, which is quite a lot. I'm storing half of it. The other half, I'm sending it to make gas filters, which is again perfectly balanced because it needs only 15 fabric and I'm making 30. So this is perfect. And this needs coal and iron plate. So I am bringing a little bit of coal and iron right over there. There was a normal node of iron and a little bit of coal, which I got from over there. Over there. So I'm bringing it over here through this belt. It is coming all the way from over there, over here, into this manufacturer, becoming gas filter and being stored. So permanent supply of gas filters. Now I can make gas mask, and I will have gas filters. Once I start this setup, I will have permanent supply of gas filters. I don't need to worry about it at all. I don't need to make it manually. I don't need to have a temporary setup, nothing. This is a permanent solution, right? That is fabric. Then at the end, I have rubber and plastic. So these are for my personal use. These are not for any other production. These are for my personal use to build stuff, right? Multiple machines require, like for example, manufacture, it needs plastic. So these things need plastic and rubber, like pipes need rubber. So I need these for my own personal use. So I have this setup over here. 20 is more than enough. It'll build up. It'll slowly build up to a huge amount because I won't be constantly using these. So that's more than enough. That's that. That's there. And then, yes. So this is the important thing. This is a really good tip. This awesome sink has to be there for your power setup to constantly run. The reason being, so this polymer resin is a byproduct. The polymer resin has to go out of the system for this machine to constantly work. If the polymer resin backs up, there will be no more heavy oil residue. If there is no more heavy oil residue, there will be no more turbo fuel at the end, and there will be no more power, and my entire world shuts off. So getting rid of this byproduct, polymer resin, is extremely crucial. And all of these systems is taking in like polymer resin. Like every single one of these refineries is taking polymer resin. And all of these systems can close, can shut off, right? Like because at some point packaged fuel will completely stock up. Turbo fuel, packaged turbo fuel will stock up. Fabric will stock up. Everything will stock up. At that point, there'll be no more consumption of polymer resin. When that happens, entire system shuts off. So every single one of these, when it comes here, there's an overflow system. So left, any, it will just take in any. Center, there is no throughput because it just ends there, right? So that right side is overflow. That is being overflowed. Similarly, this system, it's an overflow. There's an overflow system here, which is the polymer resin going into these two. Then there's an overflow system over there, which is going in there. Another one over there, which is going there. Similarly, all throughout. All the overflow systems are getting merged and being sent to an awesome sink. So no matter what, power generation will not stop. So this is the most crucial thing. Many times people will like build stuff like all of these, like, and they'll just start running. And also imagine like this power network needs around 4,800 megawatts of power to start up. Like you will only get power after you start it. Of course, you can start just a initial setup, let that power start running, and then you can use that power to power up the rest of your system. That's a good idea, good way of doing it, but I don't like it. I'll just power everything together because I like seeing all the machines running at once, right? So that's a nice way of doing it. But if you don't do it, you need 4,800 megawatts of power, which is huge, right? So imagine this thing shuts off in the middle. Like, yes, initially it'll start working until everything builds up. Your power won't shut off. So it'll be like a couple of hours. You'll be working on some other project and everything. Suddenly power shuts off and you'll have no supply. And suddenly you'll have to come here and debug, and you'll see that everything is backed up, and then you'll put the awesome sync. At which point it'll be a little bit too late, because you'll have to spend a lot of time clearing the clog first, and then supplying the power necessary to again jumpstart the system. So that's where this thing comes in. I have a jumpstart network ready in case something happens like that. In case I have to start it all over again, I have that ready. So this awesome sync, awesome, is awesome. So yeah, a pretty nice setup, a pretty simple idea, but as you keep building, it becomes more and more complex. But at the end of the day, it's not that complex. I try to explain it as easy as possible, as quick as possible. But yeah, I also need to work on my watchtower. That is supposed to be my power control tower, something like that, which will control the power throughout my entire world. That's what will be there. Right now it has control over all the power that I have, except the coal power plant. It doesn't have control over that, which I need to bring in. That'll be a little bit of work for me to bring that in, but I have to do that. So that's there. Along with that, it helps me travel back and forth to my base. So yeah, pretty nice. Everything is done. So pretty soon I'll start powering these one by one, and I'll go through a process of fixing any issues that I find. That's also an important thing. There will be some troubleshooting things which I have to do when I first start it up, but that's how the game is. So and that's the process of enjoyment in this game.